meningoencephalitis. Meninges is actually the outer covering of the brain, the membrane that covers the brain, and encephalitis means inflammation of the brain matter. So meningoencephalitis is inflammation of both the covering, the membranes covering the brain and the brain itself, meningoencephalitis. It's caused by an amoeba, mostly Naegleria fowleri, which is an amoeba which prefers heat. This particular amoeba, Naegleria, is seen in heat springs, lakes. It's something which prefers heat. So in heat springs, in warm climates, that's why there is always a question, can global warming, an increase in the overall ambient temperature, be one of the reasons why there is an increase in the number of cases? So these are all possibilities, but will it become a rampant infection like dengue or other causes, the viral diseases? Unlikely. Such handful of cases occurring in a brief period of time is a concern. Mostly cases globally, I am talking about the global situation, are reported from poorly maintained swimming pools. How does the amoeba enter the body, the brain? It is not through drinking water. See, many diseases which we get from water is by drinking water. But here it is through the nose, it's through the nasal route. So when you swim or bathe in a pool which has the amoeba, this has to enter the brain through the nasal route. As we know, the olfactory nerve, the nerve of the smell, it goes from the interior part of the nose and goes to the brain. It is through that tract that the Naegleria fowleri, the amoeba, will reach the brain. That's why it's called the brain-eating amoeba. And that is how we get the infection. So it is not through drinking water. It's always through history. There is always a history of either bathing in a ill-maintained, poorly maintained swimming pool. I say poorly maintained because swimming pool, as per swimming pool sanitation standards, usually chlorine is the disinfectant used. If it's well chlorinated and well maintained, you will not get the amoeba. That's why the occurrence is really rare. Usually the symptoms may have fever, then the headache, then signs of meningeal irritation. As we have mentioned, there is both meningitis, meningoencephalitis. So signs of meningeal irritation like the neck stiffness, severe headache, and other symptoms of encephalitis. It's a very serious condition with very high mortality. So there are many treatment protocols available. Prevention is definitely important. But how do we prevent amoebic meningoencephalitis? As I have mentioned, it doesn't spread through drinking water. But there are practices like rinsing the nasal sinuses. So if the water has the amoeba, and if the water directly goes to the nose and nasal sinuses, the amoeba can reach your brain. So it's important that the water that we use, if you have the practice of rinsing the nasal sinuses, has to be disinfected with either chlorine, or that is not available, right? Boiling is actually a perfect and probably the safest method to ensure that the water is devoid of these microorganisms. So it has to be rolling boiling for at least 1 minute. Usually swimming pool sanitation is very important once you have cases, and in places where cases have been reported, it's a good practice to avoid bathing in such pools where the presence of amoeba is suspected, because especially prevent the entry of water through your nose. This is the most important part of it.